Well, it is that time of the season again when we need to think about overwintering our lemongrass. So when is a good time to overwinter lemongrass? I normally do it before the second freeze of the season. We had our first 3 days of freezing temperatures already, so we're going to be getting more freezing temperatures starting tomorrow and then probably the next 2 days as well. Normally, I don't wait until this late, but things happen and we just have to do what it takes to get it all done, even if it means waiting until last minute. From my experience, there are two different ways to overwinter lemongrass. The first way is the high risk way. You can think of it as the simple or the lazy way, which is just to let the lemongrass be and then just have the leaves just drape over the whole plant to serve as a blanket. So, in hopes of protecting the core part of the lemongrass. Then the second way is the low risk way, which is the smarter way. Today I'm going to show you the low risk way, which is to overwinter the lemongrass in containers and then just bring them inside a structure. I'm going to be putting them in my unheated garage. I'm going to demonstrate to you how I cut off the stalks from this container. So the lemongrass here was originally not in this container. I just dug it up so I could use it as a demonstration for a presentation that I did back on the 9th of November. So I just left it in here. I could have planted back in the ground. As you can see, some of it is already dead from the first frost. A good thing that I'm going to show you, since I have this here, is I can just pretty much, this container is pretty small to start off with, and it's easy to carry. It's very mobile. So I wasn't planning on doing this, but you know what? Sometimes you just got to go with the flow. So I just think it's just going to be a great idea for me to just cut this off, chop it off down there, and then I can just put this whole thing in the garage. So this is a great idea. Didn't even think about that. And then for the rest of these pots, I'm going to be taking the stalks from these plants right here. The top part is dead, but you go until you find some stiffness. That means there's still life in the lemongrass stalk. So I'm going to cut at least um, at least 3 to 4 inches from the bottom. So let's see, that should be fine. You turn it so you can see it. Since the stalks were kind of fragile, you can see the outside are already compromised. So it would have been a little bit harder for me to pluck out the stalks individually, but I could still do it. And some of them I had to go down a little further, but you can see all the green. That means that they should do good. Even this right here, you see the black? I could cut it down a little more. Yeah, so it's this one right here. You can see it. So once I cut it down, back down, you can see that it's still doing good. It hasn't damaged that whole thing. So I'm so excited. I didn't think about doing this, but I'm just going to put all of this whole container in the garage. All right, so now we're going to get in and take some of these stalks. And please make sure that you wear gloves, long sleeve shirts, and pants to protect your skin because the edges of the leaves are pretty sharp. So what you do is you take the stalks from the outer perimeter of the lemongrass and pick a good size one. Sometimes when the lemongrass or when the environment is a lot drier, it's easier to divide. But when it's cold and it's been rainy, it might be harder to. So it was raining yesterday. So let's see. You're going to be hearing a pop. Let's go. See, like I said, sometimes it's positioned in a different angle. So did you hear that pop? And so it's not that good. So I didn't do a good job. So let's try again. See if we can hear a pop and try. Well, we didn't hear a pop. So you can see that's not good. Let's try another one. Did you hear that pop? This is real life right now. I've already pulled some of the stalks from here before, so let's see. Let's pick a different one. All right, you guys, this is real life. It is harder to pull them today because it was raining yesterday. So let's see. Sometimes when you get it right, you hear a popping sound. But then if I can't get to it, I might have to use a shovel or something like that. So let's try it. I hear a popping sound. This is not the best, but it will do. And try the other one. I don't like this one. That one feels good. I don't know if you heard the popping sound. Let's try this one. It's pretty good. It's hard to film and do this at the same time. I tried to get close for you, but it was hard too. So I'm just gonna, hopefully you can see what I'm doing. So now it's a little bit easier now that I pull the first few. So this one should be easier. See, that just comes off. And let's pull this one. Sometimes you just have to find the right angle, and then it just comes off easily. There you go. Oh no, I broke it. Oh my gosh, I broke it. But I got that one, so that should work. Try not to get so close to the core. Let's try this one right here. Looks smaller. They don't feel firm, so it might not come out easily. So let's see. So this is the container. It looks a lot more dry, so maybe I can show you this a lot better. So let's see. The stalks are not as big when they're planted in the container, so let's see. You see they come out a little bit easier. Yeah. This would be too big for me to take it to the garage. So, but yeah, so now these are coming out a lot easier. So let's see if you can see it. That one is good. See, so much easier than the one in the ground. This one you just have to go a little bit lower and just twist it. The whole point of me doing this for you so that you can see that you don't actually need to have the roots. These are coming so off so easily. Right, so I'm not going to talk and see if you can hear it popping. Right, I'm going to bring this closer so you can see it. Hopefully I can do it with one hand. You hear that popping? Close to the ground. That means you did good. See, when it's drier, it's so much easier to pull out. Yay, I pretty much got everything. So now if I wanted to, I can just um, dig that up to see if I might get some lemongrass. I've never just left it like that before, like the entire plant. Or I can just mulch it and see how it does. So I'm just gonna mulch it and experiment with it and see. I'm gonna put a thick layer of the lemongrass leaves that I have and see how it does. All right, got a whole bunch of them right here and ready to go. All right, so you see that line right there, the first line, the difference between that layer and that layer? Well, whenever you pull or divide your lemongrass, if you have any part below this line right here, then your lemongrass will do just fine. So all this layer here contains all the genetics materials or all the machineries um, that are needed to produce a new lemongrass. So as long as you have this hard, this is what I always refer to, this hard base right here below this, right here, this line, then you are all good. Your lemongrass should do well. Compare those two to these two. So do you see, you don't see that line? Just from my experience, I know that these two are not going to produce more lemongrass. Do you see that I just snapped off that hard base on the bottom there, this hard base right here? So there's none on these two. It just looks like that. It basically, it's going to die. It doesn't have any root base. It just got cut off right there. As long as you have some part of the hard base here, it should do just fine. I'm going to cut about 3 to 4 inches from the bottom, and that's how I'm going to overwinter them. So you can cut here if you wanted to. It doesn't matter. You can cut it down to here, but I like to leave it up here because during the winter I might get um, some of the upper part dying. At least the bottom are still protected. So and then if I need to, I can always cut a little bit lower later on. But for now, I'm just going to cut right here and expect there to be browning during the overwintering process. But this is how you know whether your lemongrass is dead or not. Just feel it. If it's firm, you can go like, let's just say you feel kind of flimsy, or it feels dry and mushy at the top. You just keep going down. As long as you feel the firmness as you're going down, you know that your lemongrass is still alive, so don't throw it away. So do the firmness test. If you still feel some firmness, that means your lemongrass is still alive. So I'm just going to cut right here. And I'm just going to do that to the rest of it. So after you cut it, you can just stick it in the pot. Go as far as you can until your lemongrass just sits upright like that. So you can go a little farther if you want, and that's it. And just do the same thing on this for this one, and just keep going until it just firmly sits in place, and that's it. You can push the soil down a little bit to create to not have air pocket, that is. And that's it, and we'll water that in at the end as well. So what I'm going to do now is just do the same thing to the rest of them, and it should be all good to go. They are all potted up. I have 15 in each one of these, so that's 45, and I have 5 in this container here that are individuals. And I wanted to experiment it out for you. So these two right here do not have any hard base at all. And then these 3 have some kind of hard base, but part of it is compromised. So let me show you. So you see that this line right here. So, and then this is the hard base. So you see it got damaged all the way to the top part right there. So it's technically, this is not hard anymore. So you can see it's severely compromised. So I'm just gonna stick it in. I think it's still going to do well. It's just gonna because of this. So let's hope that I am right. So we'll see. I'll let you know how these do. So I have 3 of these that are like this. So these are the 3. I need to separate it somehow. Let's put rocks on the other side. So these 3 versus these 2. All right, so these are ready to be overwinter in the garage. I have an unheated garage, but I do have a window. So it will do well if you give it minimal lighting. If you do give it more lighting, and if you have like a warm day, it might stimulate the growth, and we don't want that. Typically in the spring, when it gets warmer and it gets some more lighting, you'll see that the shoots will start coming up. So, and that kind of tells you too that, you know, it's getting warmer, and at some point the lemongrass is going to take off. So what I do is I leave it on the very bottom of the garage with very minimal lighting, and I water it in the water it in when you put it in there, and then check it if you notice that it's dry, maybe 2 inches on the top that's dry. You can go ahead and water it in. Um, Typically, I don't water. I think last year I probably watered once or twice. for the winter. How I was able to water less is because I combine 1 part soil conditioner to 1 part of potting soil. In my zone here, I used to be 7B, but now 8A. In 7B, if the temperature doesn't get below 20 degrees on a regular basis, the lemongrass behind me should do just fine. Most of it will die off, but I will have a few coming back, hopefully with each plant. And then if it gets really bad, like last winter, it was below 20 degrees for a few days. And because of that, most of them died except for one lemongrass. I did have one lemongrass. So if you're in zone 7, 7A, 7B, treat your lemongrass like a tender perennial, more leaning more towards on the annual side. So that way, you know that it's better to overwinter your lemongrass. If you're, I would say if you're between 8 and 9, it should be a perennial for you. Um, and they should come back every year. And I would say anything zone 10 and above, it should be an evergreen for you. So it was kind of all over the map as far as what lemongrass, what zone it grows best in, or what's considered an annual, perennial, and evergreen. So this is just from my experience. I think what I just mentioned um, would be pretty good to go by. So I'm just going to water these in and make sure that when you do water these in, try not to water the top and compromise the interior of the lemongrass because you might get water in there and it might get damaged. But for the most part, it'll still do pretty good. But on the safe side, just make sure that you only water the bottom. Push it down a little bit so you don't have any air pockets. So this year has been great with my lemongrass experience. I wanted a hedge of lemongrass like I have in the back of me here, and um, all the plants have done so well, and it's just been so nice watching them dancing in the wind like they are doing right now. Well, that is it today with overwintering lemongrass. If you have any questions or comments, you can write them in the comment section down below. I hope you found this video helpful and useful. And if you did, please consider subscribing and liking this video. So until next time, thanks again for watching this video. And until my next video, take care and bye for now.